Where is Michael Malone headed to next? This is your Denver Sports Daily for April 10th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
Michael Malone's future is up in the air right now, but he's already being linked to another superstar center that's dominating the league. Now, Malone has proven that he can utilize his centers in the most efficient way, which we've seen. It's very clear. Nikola Jokic, 3 MVPs and a championship. So how would he perform with Victor Wembanyama? Check that tweet out from Brett Siegel. Keep a close eye on Michael Malone being Greg Popovich's successor in San Antonio. Now, Greg Popovich is a legend in the NBA, and that goes without saying. If you watch the NBA at all, you know that Greg Popovich is up there as one of the greatest coaches of all time. There's some stat out there where he could lose every single game for the next 10 or so seasons and still have a positive record. He's incredible. Now, he coached the Spurs, the same team, for nearly 29 years, and he's led them to 5 championships, but his future's uncertain after suffering a mild stroke back in November. Unfortunate, that is. Now, Coach Pop may step away from the NBA, and if he does step away from the Spurs organization, they would look at Malone to fill his shoes. Now, Malone coached Nikola Jokic again into 3 MVPs and a championship, and the Spurs would be crazy to overlook what he can do with someone like Wembanyama. The only problem that may arise is that they play completely different play styles. Jokic and Wembanyama, that is. Jokic is a ball-dominant facilitator who doesn't look to score as often as he should, while Wembanyama is more of a stretch shooter. He's a scorer. Wembanyama averages around 9 3-point attempts per game. That's crazy from a guy who's 7'11", whatever he is, a freaking building. So Wembanyama averages an incredible amount of 3-point shots a game, while Nikola Jokic does not. They've got very, very different play styles, and not just the Wembanyama, but the entire team. Coach Pop teaches a very different play style to these young guys on the Spurs. And Michael Malone, his play style was give Jokic the ball and run the 2-man game. Honestly, now, I love Michael Malone. I'll always be a fan of his, but was there much coaching really there? Like, you give Jokic the ball and tell him, hey, run the 2-man game with Jamal Murray. That's only going to work so much. I don't think it'll have the same effect when you got De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama on the Spurs, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on if he can go to San Antonio. And I do honestly believe that he would have a lot of success with Wembanyama. You know, you look at what Michael Malone has done with Jokic, the Spurs are looking at him and saying, well, you know what? There's a guy that can win a championship with the center. There's a guy who can build a team around a real cornerstone. And he did it. They can build that team around Victor Wembanyama with Michael Malone at the helm. Now, moving on, the Nuggets may have gotten their most important win of the season last night. In the Nuggets' first outing without Michael Malone as the head coach in 10 years, the Nuggets took down Michael Malone's former team, the Kings, 124-116, and completed the season sweep over Sacramento. Nikola Jokic recorded his 33rd triple-double of the season. Incredible numbers from this guy. He put up 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, and 4 steals. And you know what's crazy about that? His averages went down. Not with the steals and with the assists maybe, but with the rebounds and the points, his numbers for the season went down after a 20-point triple-double. And you look at that, it's not his best performance of the game or of the year. But, you know, I've been saying this for a while. When Nikola Jokic is made the primary scorer of the Nuggets, they often lose. When he's out there putting up 60 points and 45 points, you know, going out there and putting up all of his shots and getting everything left on the floor, you know, all the ball's coming through him. He's putting up all the shots. The Nuggets lose. But when he's allowed to facilitate and not take as many shots and pass the ball up to teammates and set off-ball screens, that's when the Nuggets win. Jalen Pickett got the starting nod over Russell Westbrook, and he recorded a career-high 18 points and had a game-winning dagger shot, basically, with only about 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, a three-pointer to get that new career high. Jalen Pickett played incredibly well. And another part of that, Jalen Pickett playing, you look at Coach Malone, he didn't really like Jalen Pickett from what's coming out. He didn't want Jalen Pickett to play. And, you know, in the first game where Michael Malone's not here, Pickett gets a starting nod and puts up a new career high in points. Now, Pickett was the only starter without 20-plus points. The team was led by Christian Braun with 25. In fact, the starters combined for 105 points, which is a dominant performance, which overcame a subpar performance from the bench. I mean, you look at 105, putting up 126 in the full game. You don't want that kind of spread. You want your bench to be out there playing at a high level, and they weren't. That was the first time it was really clear to me in a while that this bench is not going to get us far in the playoffs. Now, moving on with this, though, it was a must-win. If the Nuggets lost, they would have fallen to the 7th seed. But with the win, they'll stay in the 5th spot with only 2 games remaining. There's a lot of teams tied with the same exact record when you look at the 4th to 8th seed or 7th seed. There's a lot of teams in there that have the exact same record. And the Nuggets can't afford any more losses going into the rest of the season. They've got a few hard games coming up. They're playing the Grizzlies, and then they're playing the Rockets. That's it. 2 playoff teams, and they have to win both of them. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do. And that game tomorrow against the Grizzlies is tomorrow. Should be a very interesting game to watch. Now, moving on, should the Broncos trade up for Omari and Hampton? The draft is creeping closer and closer, and with that, the Broncos need to start making some decisions. In Mel Kiper's final mock draft, he had Omari and Hampton going at pick number 12 to the Dallas Cowboys, and the Broncos taking Tataroa McMillan with the 20th pick. Now, Hampton is the second highest running back prospect, and with Genti most likely out of the picture for Denver, should they trade up to secure Hampton? Quick answer, no, they shouldn't. The Cowboys don't seem set on a running back as they have other positions that they need to fill. But then if they pass, then the Steelers would get a chance to take Hampton. But I believe that they would also pass on that option. They've got Najee Harris. They've got several good running backs already on that team. And I don't think they'd go out of their way to take Omari and Hampton in the first round. It really doesn't seem like a great idea for the Steelers to go out of their way to pick up Omari and Hampton. That leaves it falling to the Broncos. This draft class is stacked with talent. And rather than taking running backs in the first round, most teams may wait until later to grab a back. Now, if the Broncos can get Hampton with the 20th pick and not have to give up any more draft picks, they may have already won the draft. And that's, at least in my eyes, if they don't have to give up more draft picks like they've done in the past and just get the player that they want with the pick that they have, that's how you win the draft. And they can definitely do that. Now, moving on, it is an Avalanche game day. Tonight, the Avs are taking on the Vancouver Canucks in their third and final matchup of the season. So far this season, the Avs have yet to get a win against Vancouver, losing both matchups 3-1 and 3-0. With only 3 games remaining in the season, there's not much more movement the Avs will have, at least in the standings. But winning games like these will continue to provide confidence for the postseason. Now, Colorado is heading into tonight's game as 1-point home favorites, and that game will begin at 7 p.m. And if you haven't seen any more of the news, I'll be talking more about it tomorrow. It'll probably be the headline of the show. But wow, we have some news about Gabe Landeskog. He got signed to the AHL, going out there, getting some conditioning time in the Little League, basically. It'll be big news. I'll be talking about that more tomorrow. But that will do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow, previewing a huge Nuggets game. It's going to be big. I cannot wait to see what the Nuggets do tomorrow against the Memphis Grizzlies. And it's a huge game going out there for the Nuggets. And I do want to go back on what I said earlier. I said that Najee Harris was still on the Steelers, and that's not true. I misspoke there. He did sign in this offseason to the Chargers. But that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all then. Bye, y'all.